Hi, welcome to More Must Be Better. I'm Meg, and today we are going to make a cookie that's called a sand tart. It is a Pennsylvania Dutch, Mennonite, central Pennsylvania, very thin and crispy sugar cookie. And if you know, you know. To anyone who knows these cookies, it's not Christmas without them. This is my mom's recipe. She taught me how to make them. The recipe's really simple, but what we need to do is make the dough today, and then it needs to sit in the refrigerator overnight, and then we're gonna come back tomorrow and roll them out really, really thin. They have to be super, super, super thin so that they bake up crispy. That's the magic, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't know why they're called sand tarts, but this sugar, this colored sugar, it's sort of a coarse sugar, and it comes in all different colors, and it's called sanding sugar. And so I guess that's why. This is what we decorate the cookies with. I got these at the Van Wert Country Store up in central Pennsylvania. They sell them, there's a Lancaster County Dutch Market in Germantown, Maryland, near where I live. They sell it there. You can get it at the grocery store in little bottles, but it's much less expensive if you buy it in a big container. The little Mennonite ladies, I guess, know that you're gonna go through it if you make a batch or two of these cookies every Christmas. So let's get started. We'll make the dough first. It's a really simple recipe. I'll leave it down below. Before I tell you what it is, if you're not a subscriber to More Must Be Better, please go down and subscribe. It helps our metrics a lot. And click on the little bell, and that way you'll know when we post a new video. So the sand tart recipe is really easy. It's kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, 2 cups of white granulated sugar, 3 eggs, and about 4 cups of all-purpose flour. My mom's recipe includes a teaspoon of baking soda and a tablespoon of milk. And I'm not sure why she puts milk in it. Maybe it's just to bring it all together. I've seen other recipes that don't have the milk, so I'm just gonna add it because that's how I've always made it. And but anyway, the dough is gonna come together real quick. We're gonna put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow we'll make cookies. So let's get started with the dough. Okay, first we're gonna cream the butter, 1 cup of butter and 2 cups of sugar. And when we say cream it, it's gonna be light and fluffy. If you have a stand mixer, my mom used to use her stand mixer for 2 things. One was making these cookies, and the other was making the mashed potatoes in quantity at Thanksgiving. That's the only time she ever got her KitchenAid out. All right, here we go. Woo, it's off to the races. Okay, I think, hold on. I think that was about, we creamed it on like the highest setting for about a minute. I didn't say that the butter needs to be room temperature, but the butter needs to be room temperature. Next, we crack the eggs into a separate bowl because that's how I learned to do it in 4-H. I guess that's so that you can avoid getting shell in your cookie dough, and if there's anything funky going on in the egg, you know about it before you put it in there. These look good. So you're probably supposed to do them one at a time. I don't think it makes a difference. So don't at me. Here we go. I'm gonna mix these in. So now the eggs are incorporated, and it's a very soft mixture. Now I think we add this tablespoon of milk. Note that this recipe doesn't call for vanilla. You don't need it because it just stands on its own. Let's give this a quick whip. Now, the next thing is you're gonna add, my mom's recipe says between 4 and 4.5 cups of flour. Before we do that, we're gonna add a teaspoon of baking soda in here, and I'm just gonna mix it into the top. This is 4 cups of flour, and then I have the half a cup in another container just so that we know how much we're adding. So I'm gonna add it not all at once. I'm gonna add it in about 3 chunks. I've gotten out a board and some flour. I'm gonna dump this dough out. You want each section to be kind of small because you're gonna roll it out really thin, and you're gonna even re-roll it once. And the dough lasts, it just makes like a ton of cookies. So you make it into a disc. You pull out your plastic food wrap. And you wrap each disc up like this. I'm gonna do this with the remaining discs. I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator. I'm gonna clean up the mess, and then tomorrow afternoon I'm gonna come back and we're gonna roll and bake cookies. The making of sand tarts is really so much more about technique than it is about the dough. We got this out of the fridge an hour and a half ago, and it seems like it's going to be a good temperature for rolling. You don't want it to be warm, but it's hard to roll if it's super cold. So that's the first thing. The second is it's best to get all of your things, your equipment ready before you start rolling, cutting, and decorating and baking. So I have out 2 cookie sheets, which I'm gonna line with parchment. I've got the rolling pin, Grandma's rolling pin. It makes things taste better. I have 2 very thin metal spatulas. This is what you need to pick the cookies up off of when you roll them out and put them onto the cookie sheet. I have some flour for dusting and rolling. I have egg wash and a brush. I use just an egg white with a little bit of water. I don't do the yolk because I don't want the cookies to sort of look yellow or even taste eggy. It's just there to make the sugar stick. I also have a variety of cookie cutters. This one, first of all, it's a good idea if they're all like about the same size, at least from tray to tray. So this is a little small. This guy, you have to have a holly leaf. I got a bulb, I got a mitten. The oven is preheated to 350. I have 3 racks. I'm gonna use 2, and they're set both kind of in the middle. Okay, so let's get started rolling and cutting. So we're gonna roll out the first disc, but I'm actually gonna break it in half, or cut it in half, and cover the rest until we get to it. So you put out a little flour, a little bit of flour on top. You can pound it down just a little bit with the rolling pin. And then you have to roll them really, 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 really as thin as you can get them. If it's not a thin cookie, then it's not a sand tart, okay? The magic in these is the thin crispness. Nope, oven's ready. My mom would make them, and they're such a production, but they're so worth it. They were our favorite, they were my dad's favorite, they were my father-in-law's favorite. It is not Christmas without them. Okay, so this is really thin. I don't know if you can see how thin it is. I'm gonna start with a light bulb. And you just cut them, I cut them all, and then I move them to the tray. And you try to cut them as close as they are so that you can get as many cookies out of the first rolling of the dough as you can. That one just popped up. So you just lay them on the parchment. These are really better done with a friend or a helper. You don't have to be a friend, but they just have to know how to bake cookies. Because you'll see they bake fast and they burn fast. And so you can't forget about them in the oven. And the trick is, you don't want them to burn, but you want them to get completely crispy. Okay, I'm about to make a controversial suggestion. I don't think there's anything wrong with re-rolling your dough one time. Anything more than that, and it just gets a little weird and wonky, and it doesn't stick together, and they're maybe not as tender. But my trick, and I'm telling you, this is just the way I do it, is I might take a fresh chunk and mix it with the scraps. Is this cookie blasphemy? It might be. It might get me kicked off the Great British Baking Show, but you know what? I'm just making a YouTube video and this is how I do it, so we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comments, I'm sure you will, I don't even need to invite you, but if you've ever, what's your stance on re-rolling? Do you re-roll? Do you not re-roll? Do you notice a difference? Have you ever mixed it in with a fresh dough that hasn't been rolled? I'm telling you, it works. My mom never used an egg wash, and the sugar kind of rolls off when you do that. So I mixed up this egg with a little bit of water. It's just egg white. And I'm gonna just very, very lightly, no puddles, just kind of even dab. I mean, I guess you could brush it. Now, I have all these different colored sanding sugars. So I like purple. Purple lights are fun, and I just sprinkle them on. It'd be great to have little shakers, but you know, you don't really need them. Let's do Blue Note. Get it? Blue Note? Hey, my son Eli showed up. Here you go. Decorate some, what colors do you want?
All of them.
You want all the colors? Here's some green. And something else that's fun, I think maybe opinions vary on this, but you can use more than one color. So I'm going to decorate this second one, and I want to do this one other decoration, which is very traditional. I mixed some sugar and some cinnamon. This is just plain granulated sugar with some cinnamon. And you just put a little bit on. Then we take a blanched sliced almond, and that is a variation. Not nearly as eye-catching, but certainly delicious. You're gonna take them, once you take them out of the oven, they cool for a sec, and then you put them on a cooling rack. Then your tray needs to cool for a few minutes before you start putting more cut cookies on to decorate, because if you put this thin dough on a warm tray, it's gonna kind of start to melt before you ever get it in the oven. So it's good to have maybe 3 or 4 trays rotating, so there's all of the ones that are out are cooling, and then you're loading up new ones. I think I nailed it. These are gonna be good. So you pull them off. They will not have expanded. They should be just starting to brown, which I think you can tell. And we're gonna let them cool for a couple minutes, and then I will demonstrate the crispiness. So it makes a lot of cookies, but I just did this one chunk for now just to show you how it works. I'm gonna put the rest in the refrigerator. They can stay there for a week or so, and you can freeze the dough too, and do it later, like when there's more people around to help. So the cookies have cooled. Let me show you how crispy they are. Here's the back. I want to see the back. The back looks, it just gets the tiniest little bit of, you can tell it kind of puffs up. Here we go, ready? Oh snap, literally. Nailed it. And that's one of the cinnamon ones too. Get a couple friends, have a glass of milk, glass of wine, whatever, and have a cookie baking party. It's so much fun. It's not Christmas without them. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll make my mom's sand tarts. And again, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel because that really helps our stats. Click the little bell so that, here, it looks like this. Click the little bell so that you never miss a new episode of More Must Be Better. Until next time, Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. Bye.